Hello people, Angelo here, and welcome to me talking about Undisputed. We're going to be talking about the current issues with the game, the spam, the desync, all that stuff. So speaking of desync, let's just kick it right off with the desync talk. This is going to be a short thing where I just say they need to add some sort of region lock, pin fit, like as an option, and then also a ping filter. So if you want to play globally, okay, you filter the ping to make sure it's someone with not an atrocious connection to you, or you can just region lock to hopefully get someone close to you. And then in the future, they need to start working on a system that will allow you to allow the game to sort of filter, in a way, the differences between the ping to try and stabilize the connection. So improve the connection in general is what I mean. I word saladed that, but you know what I mean. They need to, but at first, just for temporary, put in a ping filter so you can limit the disconnection between you and your opponent to hopefully mitigate as much desync as possible. And then they need to obviously limit the issues with the actual system itself as we get deeper into the game's life cycle, because currently the game's issues are atrocious, outrageous, and unacceptable. And the devs really need to get right on the ball in changing that and fixing that, because in its current state, I don't think anyone in any way is going to think it's acceptable how desynced and broken the system is. But as the AI is spamming right here, I guess this is the next thing we should talk about, which is the stamina system, and how there is no punishment for being low stamina, whether this is temporary stamina or completely total stamina. There is no damage nerf if you got the red filter. There is no risk to instant flash knockdown or knockout. If you, like, I feel like that'd be the way to really punish someone for blowing their entire gas tank, is just a flash knockout. So, okay, someone's worn down or someone's throwing too much, their bar flashes red, boom, a big power overhand, they drop immediately, the match is over. That way you'd have a more consistent way of actually punishing people for spamming, and it would actually make people more cautious, because they would realize, hey, if I get rid of my entire bar here, I'm going to get whacked with a big power shot and that's going to knock me out. In the current state of the game, though, there's nothing to really disencourage it. In fact, it's actually encouraged because certain punches gain hyper speed when you're in the red flashing bar, meaning you can actually hit Mach 29,862 speed punches that are unreactable. So you have like an 8-10 punch combo in the span of 2 seconds, which is absolutely outrageous that that's even plausible or possible. And in honesty, I feel the fact that they haven't thought this through is, in all honesty, a sign that they really did not actually in-house test this well enough to be considered a proper game, in my opinion. They didn't in-house test this very clearly. They went, oh, just make sure nothing's explicitly broken, and then they left everything that's explicitly broken in. Because I'm not sure what they were testing for. Like, apparently they had like private testers. I'm not sure what they were testing for, considering the most blatant things I would test for: the backstep spam, the button mashing, the power spamming, the uppercut spamming. Well, uppercut spam's finally not a thing, so that's one thing they fixed. But everything else is like, there's nothing fixed. But on the other hand of spam, there's obviously the spam exploits. So there's the power hook spam, the power straight spam, the power jab spam. Just power spam in general. There is the sidestep spam, which isn't as common because that's a little harder to pull off. But then there's also the backdash triple jab hook spam, where someone will spam the backdash, so double flick backwards on the stick, jab, 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 hook on the same side, and that does massive cut damage. It has a very high chance of just countering if you've thrown any punch within the last 20 years. And so pretty much you're not, and so you have to play super cautiously. You have to like straight up just hold guard, walk forward, and just tap hook them until they get gassed, throw 2 hooks, try and just completely obliterate their head, because there's nothing you can actually do if someone just spamming backdash. I feel backdash needs a complete reanimation. It should not be an offensive maneuver, because it's not. You shouldn't be having people who are in fighters backdashing so they can spam jabs. I feel partially reanimating the jabs themselves would help this, so back jabs, forward jabs and static jabs to actually look like an actual jab, because I'm not sure if anyone's actually seen how the jabs look in this game, but the jabs to the head don't look that good. They actually look kind of, yeah, if I'm going to be honest. They look too flimsy is the point I'm making. It doesn't look like you're actually trying to snap out a jab. And for some, that's fine. Some fighters, that's fine, but 99% of fighters, it doesn't look right to have them spamming all these jabs in the most absurd way, you know? It doesn't have it. It doesn't work. It looks really out of place. And so a lot of these spams, it's due to backstepping being broken currently, and like generally animations not actually requiring you to actually time your punches, due to animations just coming out in ways that don't realistically work for... Because if this is just meant to be the general jab, so it's not a special jab for that particular fighter, then they should fight in the general way. And the jabs just don't look like they got the snappiness they should. They look very flimsy. And there's not enough actual proper oomph into the jab. And I don't mean like these ridiculous over-exaggerated. I just mean there's no, when you step in, there's no step into the jab. It's just a walk-forward jab. Walk forward jab. It's the same with the backstep jab. It also, I feel the backstep jab should be similar to the backstep straight. So you jab and then you backstep, which would actually make it work better. So you go jab, jab, and then it's the backstep. So you might throw a standard static one and then walk, and then the backwards one, instead of it just being matching this weird glitchy looking backstep jab that has the weirdest range design and the weirdest accuracy in the universe. And as I mentioned, backdash itself needs to be... And honestly, all the dash animations need to be reworked. The weave, the dash, everything. It's all very clear that they only update particular things, and I feel like everything needs a makeover. And also, they still need to fix the stepping straight. It does not look right. It has been really flimsy looking. It more looks like I'm throwing a sloppy overhand than an actual straight, which obviously... Like, look at that animation. Like, I'm not sure if you can see that in the background, but wow, that looks bad. Pretty much, it needs more... It needs... What's the term? Torque? Is it torque? I forget the exact word. I'm not good with my words sometimes. But it needs more of a screw to your hip turn, to your shoulder turn, to your fist turn. It needs more of that spin, if you get my meaning. It needs more thrust when you're stepping in. And currently, it doesn't feel like it has thrust. It doesn't feel like it has the proper movement to it. And this is a very major issue for the game. If the punches have not got proper thrust, they've not got proper torque, they've not got a proper cork to the spin. You get what I'm trying to say. And even then, there's still more problems. Like, I've listed like problems that are bad enough, but there's more. So let's get to the next one, which is the AI. Like, in all honesty, I'm labeling the major issues right now. I haven't even got to damage, but let's go to the AI before I get to damage itself. So, there's the AI, obviously, where the AI just input reads so heavily, especially on the, as soon as you get to Pro and Undisputed difficulty, all the AI does is read your inputs. Perfect counter everything. Know exactly what you're going for. So I literally tested this. I literally spent a whole match jabbing to the head the whole round, and then I threw one jab to the body, and the AI, even before the input started coming out, immediately flicked its arms down to its body, and I was like, huh? What? And I actually tested this because I was like, this is suspicious. This is very dodgy. And so I waited for the moment, and I threw a shot to the body, and I found the only consistent way to actually get a hit on the AI is when they're in the middle of an animation. So they're dashing, they're weaving, or they're like throwing a shot. And or they're recovering. That is the only time you can really get a clean shot on the AI. And obviously this is an issue. This is a problem. The AI should not be reliant on this kind of mechanic. They should be like, honestly, I believe it was Fight Night Round 4, I remember someone playing this game. And the AI would adapt if you did the same thing too much. So let's say you'll throw too many headshots to the body, he will start leaning back and countering your headshot. If you threw too many body shots, he would start throwing uppercuts to your chin. If you threw too many jabs, he would start waiting for the jab to try and lean it and then catch you with a hook. Like, the AI would adapt if you spammed the same punch combo over and over. So you'd actually have to mix up your combos, change your levels, change your strategy. And I feel like this would actually make the higher level AI better to fight. Like, I'm not even on about the artificial health buff they give the AI, because in all honesty I could care less, but at least making it possible to point the AI to defeat in a reasonable manner would at least be appreciated in the game's current state, because currently all the AI does is know exactly where you're going for. Yeah, they don't do this to each other. It's only when the AI's facing a player they'll start knowing your inputs. And it's utterly absurd. It is utterly absurd that this is even a thing. It completely breaks balance. It completely breaks the gameplay, because you're just... And it makes career mode actually a torture to play. I don't want to... I literally will not play career mode until the AI is fixed in some manner. Because it's just like... It's unplayable. I've tried mobile styles, mobile characters, just to see if it was enjoyable, and I'm just like, this is a torture. This is actually a misery. I can't stand this. So we literally need this to make an entire mode feel playable in the higher difficulties, because currently it feels unplayable unless you play in a very cheap or lame way. But that of course brings us to the big daddy of the situation. This brings us to the Riddick bow of the situation. Damage. This partially links to stamina, but damage in general, where power shots are king. And in order to, I feel like power shots cost too little stamina and they do too little damage. Unless you're Wilder, who's just completely broken. But this is the issue currently, is that damage is completely all over the place. It's completely nonsensical sometimes. Like, I can literally catch someone with like 28 clean power, not power shots, but counters to the face, the AI, and it won't drop. And like 9 of those will be in one round. And actually I think it was 38 that game, so it wasn't even 28, it was 38. And the AI won't, and it was an 8-rounder I believe, and the AI wouldn't go down, it wouldn't stay down, even though like realistically you'd think if you got caught that many clean counters by Rocky Marciano, you would drop no matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're Tyson Fury, doesn't matter if you're Usyk, Rocky Marciano with around about 38 clean counters, with 9 of them being in one round, would absolutely, at the very minimum, rock you a few times. But no, it didn't. It had no, like, major effect. It had no major outcome on the fight. And so it just felt very worthless to throw. In fact, I've seen online people spamming backstep hooks, which also need reanimating, because their current animations are completely abysmal, because that's actually more effective, because they actually get high stagger and have a higher chance of flash KOing for some reason. Like, the only time I've seen a flash KO 2 times was when people spammed backstep hooks. So it's just like, okay, makes sense, I guess. So this is like a major issue that needs to be fixed, needs to be worked on, because it's just like the damage just doesn't feel significant enough. Obviously, stamina needs to be more draining for major damaging punches, so you don't just spam them. But if you get a clean shot, I feel you should get rewarded with damage. And so it just feels like characters who might be slower and power punchers don't really have a chance sometimes against the faster, more spammy characters, because you've got someone playing Tyson Fury that's spamming power straight the entire game, and you can't get in range to properly hook him because his damage is too high, and his stamina cost is too low. So it's like, it's a complete imbalance. Like, certain punches feel really underpowered and some feel really overpowered. And so it's just like everything feels very out of place and desynced. And of course, there is one thing I just remembered, which is punch stagger. And this will be the last thing for the video, since we're already 14 minutes long. So yeah, this has already been a messy rant video, so sorry about that. Got a bit of aftermath from the sniffles, obviously, so I might be a bit scatterbrained. But no, this is one of the worst things in the game, is the stagger system. It's a good idea, but some punches like power straight should not stagger you with like a flinch stagger. Like, if they do a major stagger where you go with that weird crumple thing, that's fine. But when like it's the micro staggers, I feel that micro staggers should be a lot less common than they are. I feel micro staggers should really be a thing you get if you catch someone after they've thrown a punch. So if you catch someone and intercept them, it could be like a sort of micro counter. So it's not like got the counter damage, but you've hit them between punches, and therefore countered them. I feel like that should be more how it actually works. Because currently, it feels very unbalanced because it's really first thrown, first serve. So that people just spam like really quick rear hook. Or they'll like spam like particular punches to really gain an advantage, and then they'll immediately power shot after, and they'll just do that over and over and over again. Because there's nothing you can do because they'll micro stagger you. And of course the micro stagger sometimes makes sense. Like if you catch someone off a backdash and you smack them in the face, sure, they should be micro staggered. If you catch someone after they've thrown a punch, sure, they should be micro staggered. If it's not a counter, it should at least give you a micro stagger when you catch him clean on the chin. Sure. If they haven't thrown anything and you hit them, I don't think you should be getting micro staggers because it means they have no chance to counter. So I feel like it should more be a thing to reward, maybe not having perfect timing, but knowing when your opponent's punch combo has a hole in it, even if it's not a counter. I feel like that should be how the game actually works. That should be how the gameplay actually works. And currently it doesn't feel like this is the case. It doesn't feel like this is the actual thing that takes place. Instead it feels when you throw that punch, first come, first serve. And really, this is just me rambling and ranting about 1.0 pre-release Undisputed. I hope this video has given you some insight to the issues of the game. I'm sorry if I sound a bit scatterbrained. As I've said, had to be able to sniffle. In addition, I don't script these videos, so I just say what comes to mind. Because I value honesty about video games as a massive policy. Because I want to see good games. So I just want to say last thing. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you dislike the video, dislike the video. And if you have an opinion, please leave a comment and share the video. Get it out there. The devs need to understand that they need to improve their game. Anyway, with that said, see you around. Peace out and have a great day. Peace.